Okay, test. Okay, test. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. One sec. Sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you guys are all having yourselves a fantastic start to the AM here. Appreciate all of you guys for having the flexibility yesterday. Had a nice weekend here with some family in town. It's been awesome. They're still here. They're just in the other room sleeping. So doing my best to be quiet. Hopefully everyone can hear me just fine. If you guys could just confirm no issues with the mic or anything along those lines, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, yeah, let's kind of get after it here a little bit. Let's figure out what we want to do. And yeah, let's set ourselves up for what should hopefully be a fantastic trading day. Obviously, last week, right? Really good trading week. We went 5 for 5, right? On the days that we traded. We had lots of good action, and we're on a nice little streak here. I think there's a couple things. There's a couple things, right, that can get created when you start to go on those nice little runs. So one, right, you can start to like take shortcuts, right? Oh, like I'm on a really good run of form. Everything I'm touching turns to gold. Let me let me touch more so that I get lucky more often, right? That can be sort of one scenario. And then the other kind of option or the other tier, right, is okay, things have been going really, really well. It can then make it more difficult, right, or more challenging, or however you want to describe it, right, to accept a red day when one inevitably happens. So understanding that those are probably going to be my two most likely biases here this morning, right? I have to kind of prepare myself or protect myself from myself just to kind of make sure that today, hey, remains a relatively easy, smooth, and peaceful, right, trading day. I'm not really interested in doing anything that would jeopardize my streak. And really just need to understand, right, to remind myself that, hey, I've been in this good run of form because I've been more deliberate, right, with my trading. I've tried to be more specific. I've tried to be more patient with price action, right? I've waited out kind of crappy conditions and sometimes traded through some of those crappy conditions. And hopefully, right, today is a smooth, calm, cool day. We can find our win, enjoy ourselves a little bit here, and then move on and go enjoy the rest of our lives. So that's really the primary focus here today, right? Find myself a good A+ setup, wait out kind of the crappy price action, and then go from there. Although I wasn't watching the market there yesterday, I did see a we'll call it my like social media indicator of traders who always scream that the market needs to go short. And they were all having a little bit of a meltdown yesterday. And so it definitely seems like we had some pretty aggressive buyers basically defending price action all morning yesterday. Now that's definitely being confirmed by the volume standards that we're seeing. But yeah, worth kind of watching out, and worth for us, right, to kind of hopefully see what that momentum is established like. So yeah, with that being said, welcome to all the new members who joined over the weekend, and for all the old souls here trading with me today, let's get after it here, team. Let's have ourselves a lot of fun, and yeah, let's get after it this morning. So first things first, right, economic calendar. We have some Fed speak here, so that started already. The Fed Listens event, that's got to be a new initiative. That sounds ridiculous. We got some G7 meetings, fine. But yeah, just a lot of Fed speak here generally throughout the day. About as many as we had there yesterday. So we'll complicate things potentially or create that algo headline. But besides that, right, it should be, by the looks of it, a relatively smooth trading day, just from an economic calendar perspective. So with that being said, what's the count here on ES? Let's start there, and let's kind of figure out what we want to do here this morning. Yeah, it's a 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume, right? So we've got trending markets is what we're being told, and we're trending here to the upside, and we're looking for a continuation of that upside narrative. I mean, since say April 22nd, right, the last month or so approximately, right, of price action, we've got 3 red days in that entire time period. It's just been a straight line higher, right, reasonably. And so we're effectively looking for a continuation of that until we get some sort of proven otherwise. I think we're so close to that 6,000 level that I think we do touch that here at some point, and then eventually, right, kind of make that breakout either above, or that may be the opportunity for us to push down to lows. So we're definitely flirting with that area here this morning, right? That's going to mean that my starting point here to the upside is going to be 59.80. Our pre-market current price, right, is 59.69.50. Nice. So our ORB indicator is going to take care of that first level, and then we can look for that move towards 6,000 and beyond. To the downside, it would be with extreme prejudice here today. So I would have to see something pretty aggressive for me to want to flip short. But I will just map this out and give myself a slightly easier scenario if one does happen. Right, so we've got trending action to the upside. I don't want to get caught up chasing short just so I can feel as if I've got action on the table. And let's make sure, right, that whatever does happen here on ES, we've got a good, clean, consistent narrative that we can kind of fall in love with. Okay, NQ, similar, not so similar. How we feeling? Yeah, absolutely, Nick. It's gonna be a great day. Still got him sleeping in the other room, but yeah, hopefully we can keep it going here today. And yeah, 2 out of 3 here to the upside again, right, with volume. It's not outlier volume, which again, right, maybe slows me down here just a little bit, but I think that path towards 22,000 very much in play here this morning. Pre-market high of 21,567, so 21,600 as our starting point here to the upside continues to make a lot of sense, and then mapped out there right to the that 22,000 area. Don't think I need to be more aggressive than that. To the downside here, we're at 21.4. So I have to change this, and again, right, it's if I do play anything to the downside, it's with extreme caution. Basically in these types of market conditions, right, where you're kind of getting that grinding price action here to the upside, I don't want to get caught shorting something and basically having like a really challenging trade. So I know that historically, and I think this maybe is for most traders, right, is when things get boring, you want to go for that counter trend move because it's faster, it's more exciting, right, it's more aggressive. And that can kind of get you caught up and actually missing what the real trend of the market is. So again, right, if I do get that downside move, it is with extreme caution. And it's just, extreme caution, in fighting biases, right, of, okay, I need to be excited to have a good time, and fighting the general kind of bias of the market, right? Like we said, basically for the last month, it's been a straight line higher. So I'm not going to try to call the top here and just hope, right, that I'm going to get lucky with that call. That's a quick way to get just crushed and to take quite a lot of damage and pain prior to ever getting paid out. So if we're going to get that trend shift and we're going to open ourselves up to a more aggressive bearish environment, we need to see that proven otherwise occur first prior to us being aggressive here. Okay, so inside bar, we should be done with the roll. So we'll sanity check this at some point, but we're going to be trading the June contract here today, no longer the May contract. So that'll be a CLN 2025 instead of a CLM 2025. Now, if you just go CL1, that should reflect now the correct contract date, as this is always the forward contract. So again, right, just remaining a little bit cautious here and a little bit patient. All things considered, we're still consolidating inside that Thursday range. So we're looking for a breakout right from that area. And we're going to call this a weak 2 out of 3 to the upside. Actually, we're just going to call this a 2 out of 3 to the upside with weak increasing volume. Okay. And with CL, right, it's probably a little bit more realistic for me to have some flexibility in both directions. So CL, right, we can kind of tease this thing into that red box, right? Look for that breakout into that zone, see if we can establish support there. Or alternatively, right, we can almost look at this as like a like wedge rejection, bear flag rejection, things along those lines. And let's see if we can kind of get that combo of information to sync up. Now we're at 62.20 here pre-market. So I do think that 63 and beyond continues to be sort of my realistic kind of levels. And then to the downside here, we're looking at a 61.50 as my starting point. So I don't need to change too much here on CL. Just a couple extra little stops along the way. But yeah, definitely want to be maybe a little bit more patient here. And we'll see how this story develops. If I'm looking at all the tickers, right, NQ and ES are giving us a much better indication of trending price action versus what we're seeing here on crude oil. All right, Apple. So we're looking at a 2 out of 3 without volume. Tesla is a 2 out of 3 without volume. Microsoft, 2 out of 3 without volume. So weak trending conditions, right? Amazon. Weird. Showing me like a little green open. But again, right, this is going to be a 1 out of 3. Hey, good morning. And AMD, right, it's going to be a 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. So already kind of an interesting story here, right, on our leading names. We're seeing volume effectively being defended inside the indexes. We're not seeing that same level of volume, right, on our individual tickers. So again, right, maybe being told that this is going to be more of like a grind day than a textbook trend day, right? So kind of expecting choppy price action until I get some sort of proven otherwise. Metal Mountain, yesterday's volume really low. Netflix, same thing. And then Google, same thing, right? So our leading names, right, pretty thin from a volume perspective. Our indexes looking a little bit more trendy, right, and a little bit like they have a bit more enthusiasm. So we're basically waiting to see which story ends up effectively being in control here this AM. Is it going to be, strong momentum, right, good bullish price action continuing that grind higher? Or is it going to be kind of a chop day where we catch our breath and sort of reset and get ourselves ready to go? I think that's really our two options, right? So base expectation here this AM is that it's probably going to be relatively choppy, at least early, until we can get maybe that double fake out scenario. And then we can look for sort of a continuation move to the upside or a, breakdown to the downside if everything really wants to cooperate. But I still think short term, right, this morning at least, I'm looking more for that upside continuation or some of those like breakout type trades, right, more than anything else. So kind of fired through this prep here this morning. Maybe the muted tone that I'm using here this morning has made the prep go really quickly. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how the market shapes up, and excited to be back trading with everyone after what felt like I was missing something yesterday. So yeah, excited to be here. Any questions? Everything kind of makes sense. How's everyone feeling? Good, Jack. Love to hear that. How's everyone else doing? Yeah, it's been good, Vinny. No complaints. Love it, team. Love it. Good to hear. Love that, Steven. Fantastic. Hey, good morning, SG. Good morning, Aj, Manjeet, Vinny. Hope you guys are doing well. And then, final thing, right? VIX hanging out 18 spot 06. So we've got, a little bit more than 1% of implied daily range here today. Hey, love that, Aj. Good morning, Charles. Yeah, it was the same thing in Whistler here, Jeff. It was absolutely raining down here the entire weekend. Nice work, Mark. You're in a nice little run of form here, man. Good job. Okay, any other questions here, team? Morning, Karina. How you doing? Yeah, absolutely. So, what the 3 for 3, 2 for 3, all that kind of stuff is, it's helping me identify what the trending pre-market conditions are and kind of help me determine what the bias is, right, of each day. So, I'm looking at three things. I'm looking at the previous day's candle color. So is that green or red, right? That's going to indicate the plus or minus, right? So if it's green, it's going to be a plus. If it's a minus, it's going to be a negative or a minus sign. And then I'm looking for three things, right? For all of them to tell me the same story. So I'm looking for yesterday's price action. Was it strong? That's point one. Was yesterday a increasing volume day, right? Or a decreasing volume day? If it's increasing volume, then that's point two. And then if it's a pre-market gap up or gap down, right, that's the third element. So we're looking for basically all three elements that we can look at, right, to tell me the same story. So a 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume tells me that yesterday, right, we had a strong candle shape. We had a strong volume profile. And this morning, right, the thing that's missing is the bullish price action relative to that. And yeah, there should be a couple videos inside the trading docs tab that will break down this system in a little bit more detail. But that's kind of the foundation. Is it's okay. What is yesterday's price action telling me? What's today's price action telling me? Is that story consistent? The more consistent that narrative is, the more likely I am to get trending conditions here to the upside. The more inconsistent that narrative is, right, the more likely I am to kind of get choppy conditions or reversal type environments. And yeah, no worries. If you guys have any questions, right, ask them in the moment. It's better to get them answered right away. And yeah, always good to get one answered early. No problems. Love to hear that, Karina. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time just to get used to everything. I get that. All right, team. Any other questions here? Well, if you just click the link, Jared, the link will automatically update. If you save it as your own layout, then you need to save it each day if you want my notes to be updated. So if you just click the link and you just cycle through, it'll be updated. But if you've saved it as your own layout, then you've now effectively made your own copy and it won't be reflecting the changes that I make. All right, fantastic, team. So we got a few minutes here till market open. I'm just going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend a few minutes here kind of visualizing a successful trading day, and then I'll jump back on in a couple and we'll do a quick little pre-market rundown before the session starts. We'll be back in a few minutes and we shall talk then. All right, team. So yeah, we're back here, and yeah, let's kind of get ready, right, for what should be an interesting trading session. So in general, right, we kind of have weak trending price action here. Indexes look stronger than our leading names, so we've got volume supporting our thesis here on the index level, and then on our individual tickers, right, we're kind of seeing them lag behind, right? They're kind of either gapping up or giving us really weak volume profiles, right, where we're not necessarily convinced in the narrative that we're getting. So we want to be a little bit patient here this morning. We're getting sold a story of kind of pseudo choppy price action, right? Or pseudo choppy conditions. And we're looking for just that consistent narrative, right, to show up here this AM. So it kind of looks like it might be a bit of a grindy, type bit of PA. And I don't think it's going to be a session where we need to be particularly aggressive, right, to kick things off. Now, with that being said, right, yesterday was a little bit of a strong day where when it broke out, right, it held above that breakout zone and then continued to basically climb all day. So we're going to be judging, right, this initial reaction here to the opening range breakout as we kind of put it together this AM, right? Are we seeing a good level of enthusiasm? Are we seeing those levels hold? And we can expect, basically that quote unquote trend day, or are we going to see that initial move fail, not be able to sustain that breakout? And then we know that we're looking for sort of a double fake out scenario, and it might just be a little bit more of a patient session. I'm thinking back to Friday's trading, which honestly feels like a lifetime ago here now. But if I'm thinking back to Friday's trading, that was a great day because we kind of waited out the challenging, bouncy, pain in the butt price action. And then we were able to get a really smooth trade, and it was just one and done. If I could get that again here today, that would be awesome. And I'm going to be willing to be a little bit more cautious and patient and deliberate just to set myself up for a scenario where that is the most likely outcome. Honestly, like trading within that type of context, right? It's the least stressful. It feels like it's the least draining. It's the most repeatable type of PA. So if we can basically stay within that kind of zone of focus, I think we're going to be in really good shape here this morning. If we can't find the right opportunity, no worries, right? No problem. I don't need to get a trade every single day. And as much as I want to get one here, just to make sure that, almost like justified taking the day off yesterday, I can't be making decisions based off of that, right? I'm a trader, so I get paid for my decisions, not my time. And I need to make sure that today, right, I'm making good decisions and I'm not trying to just capture some fleeting moment just for the sake of feeling something. So yes, we're up early. Yes, right, we're looking at the markets. Yes, we have an expectation of hopefully there being some trades. We got to make sure that everything syncs up and behaves the way that we want if we're going to get that nice consistent amount of follow through and a good level of oomph, right? So looking forward to seeing what the market gives us here this morning. We do have a relatively clear economic calendar from like a data perspective. We just kind of have some Fed speakers, right, that are yapping away here. Again, this Fed Listens event has got to be some sort of initiative that they're doing. I don't know what they're listening to. But curious to see basically where momentum shows up this morning and basically how enthusiastic price action wants to behave. If we can get some joy, it's going to be a lot of fun. If not, happy to sit on hands and just go stare at the rain, right, for a few hours. So looking forward to seeing where the day comes together. And let's see what this initial breakout, right, or breakdown kind of behaves like. And then we can kind of go from there. Any questions, team? Everything kind of makes sense? And then in general, right, that family account that I've been running, we're really close to getting that thing passed. So again, right, I'm not going to allow that extra quote unquote pressure, right, to trick me into making a decision that I don't want to make. Getting that account passed in less than 10 trading days is a great outcome. So let's make sure that we're, being deliberate, right, getting that across the line. And again, right, making decisions based on good processes, good technique, right? Sound logic instead of needing just vindication from our P&L. That vindication, right, will happen when we follow our rules, and we're going to feel desperate or exhausted, right, or whatever, if we're just chasing something that maybe isn't textbook. So far, kind of a slow start, pretty tight range here, all things considered. And again, right, that maybe is giving me more feelings that, hey, it is going to be a slower, choppier day, right? We're seeing a level of enthusiasm that's less than half of what we saw there yesterday, less of half than what we saw on Friday, right? Half of what we saw there Thursday, Wednesday. This is the smallest range we've seen here in a very, very long time. That's worth understanding, right? That I need to be patient, and that's okay, right? I don't mind being patient. I don't mind having to sit on hands if that's what's required, but I'm not going to force anything if something doesn't set up perfect. So right away, right now, we're starting to get our first attempt here to break out from these opening ranges. And let's see if those tape outs get or sorry, these breakouts sustain. Yeah, so just getting it to 9K in profit, Cole. That's the target you need to pass this account. So yeah, adding an 8th account here to my arsenal. And so just hopeful that that one's going to get passed. Well, I'm not sure if it's necessarily right to assume that just because volumes are low that we're going to get choppy conditions. But once we start to see a divergent story between the indexes, right? So when we're seeing big volume and kind of trending conditions here on our indexes, and then we're seeing our leading names giving us kind of thinner volume, right? And maybe showing us weakness relative to that. It is the divergence between the indexes and the leading names that maybe tells us that it's going to be a more choppy environment. Does that make sense? It's basically like once I see two different stories, right? So if I see my indexes telling me one thing and I see my leading names telling me another, it's kind of one of those scenarios, right, where the truth is somewhere in the middle. So if the truth is somewhere in the middle, right, when we're looking at the stock market, that generally means it's going to be slower and choppier and all sorts of those fun things. Okay, so that little ding you guys just heard was a 5-minute bullish reversal thesis. I'm not going to be chasing this here aggressively yet. It's not really feeling like it's mean reversion conditions here. So again, I'm going to be a little bit patient for this. But that could be in play here at some point. Okay, we're trying to get a breakdown here to the downside. I mean, it makes sense if Apple's selling off the way that it is. Yeah, kind of one candle up, one candle down here so far. So let's see if this might be also a fake out higher, fake out lower already established on the first candle of the day. Or second candle of the day, right? First post opening range. So on NQ, right, we're going to be looking fake out higher, fake out lower for sure. We already have that, right? So we're now looking for an increasing volume breakout through these blue lines instead of through the green box. ES continued as an inside bar, so fine. CL looks like it's got some nice volume here to the downside. I'm always very skeptical of those early CL moves, so I'll keep an eye on that for now, but I'm not going to be chasing it. And let's see, right? If this thing can give me an increasing volume breakdown through that blue line, yeah, we can look for a short. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the scenario here as of yet. So again, right, it's just a slightly slower start here to this morning. 9:36. So I mean, it's not on anything yet, but got to be nice and patient here. Okay, so ES consolidating much more than NQ, which I think is interesting. It's almost like showing us like relative strength. Let's see if NQ can break down and hold through on volume. It should go increasing volume here, surely. And then there's a couple of things we want to see, right? We want to see it closing under 400 and under that blue line. So it's kind of like a double point of resistance, which is now looking like a fake out. That's a fake out on both. So now on ES, right, that's going to be our fake out low. And then on NQ here, we need to now get a breakout, right, on volume above our fake out high. Again, we're being forced to slow down here just a little bit this AM. Other than that, that's fine. No issues. Yeah, haven't missed out on anything on CL here. I think realistically, trading CL right now is going to be just challenging from a risk reward perspective, right? Where I'd want my stop loss to be would be 61.76, and I'd be ideally looking for an entry right then off of 61.66. If I'm looking for a pullback now into 61.70, I'm not buying where I would expect support to defend. I'm buying above that, or I'm buying above where I could then argue that support has quote unquote failed. So there's no reason for me to go after this here yet. Okay, NQ gave me a 10 min reversal thesis. So from like a mean reversion perspective, this would be the most interesting. And we're looking at about 166 points. So we're just going to go this for now. And we're looking for something along those lines. So this would be really our best opportunity here to start the session off. Our stop loss would need to be 421.50. And we'd be looking right for this previous high of day to act as support. That doesn't appear to be the case here yet. So again, just be a little bit patient here, be a little bit cautious. We've already identified that today looks like it's going to be a choppy fake out shake day. So if that's the case, right, just because I get a setup trigger and I get a ding, doesn't mean I need to be hyper aggressive. I need to be deliberate here this morning. This is just trying to frustrate, I think, every participant and then some. And so if that's fine, right, I'm okay waiting it out. And yeah, if I have to be patient, I have to be patient. No big deal. I'd rather be patient and save money than aggressive and lose money. That's a good combo in my opinion. And all things considered, our prep is doing its job here this morning, right? It helped us identify what the likely market conditions are, right? i.e., kind of choppy conditions. And we're now just avoiding, right, basically obvious mistakes until things settle down and become consistent. And then CL, we did a good job not chasing this, right? This would have been a losing position here now. Again, right, if it's compromised, we shouldn't feel the justification to chase it or trade it. We should just be looking for a nice continuation move, right? Once that chop gets kind of figured out. Excuse me. Okay, we still have that mean reversion set up here in play. but it's not, maybe not quite ready for me here yet. Kind of, yeah, it's kind of funny. You take a day off, that's the trend day. You come back, and all of a sudden, back to chop. Classic. Yeah, and that's kind of what we experienced on Friday, right, Benny? Like we had that kind of slower start to the morning, right? We waited for basically all that like indecision to get shaken out of the market, and then we got a really clean trade. Well, we'll see if we can get that same scenario here, but we effectively have, yeah, fake out higher, fake out lower, right, on both of our tickers here at this point. And so we're looking now, right, for just separation through those ranges. Yeah, kind of a boring start. I guess probably what I expected, truth be told. And that 400 on NQ, very much a magnet so far today. So we're looking, right, first breakdown on volume through these blue lines. And yeah, we did a really good job avoiding CL. Good little trap scenario. Okay, so we're going to be watching NQ here, team. We are absolutely going to be watching NQ. Okay, again, the problem here maybe is just our risk reward ratio that's in play. Maybe I can push this just to 300. Okay, so let's do that. Let's push it to 300. And that's our first pre-market prep level. So for now, right, we're looking at our stop loss here to be 370.25. And we're looking to see how it basically finds support here off of this like 364, right, area, that blue line. I'm going to be setting up my order with those parameters in place, right? So 21,371 will be my stop. Oh, well, that's got to change now. That'd be 21,378 and invalidated. That was fast. So no entry on that, no entry on that. Quick little fake out through that. So again, we're just going to reset this, let it figure out its move. It has to be a multi-candle setup, no worries. Or alternatively, right, we can pass on this burden of confirmation to the 5-min time frame. Either scenario is fine. And again, we'd just be targeting 300 here, right, which is our pre-market prep level. And this looks like it has a chance to be largest volume of the day, or at least flirting with that tier. It's an okay close. So we could, for now, be looking at the pullback entry technique. We need a decent pullback here, right? You would need a pullback into, I mean, that'd be like 393 would have to be your base starting point. So my entry target right on this pullback would be that lower blue line. Doesn't seem like it's going to give me that pullback here, at least not immediately. So if that is the case, right, then we're back to looking at this as our scenario. Again, it's a little bit challenging for me to get that or to trust that that's going to be a good play. Again, right, this is a game of patience here so far. And again, we can maybe play this on the 3-min time frame if it wants to give me a nice little clean breakdown. That would be their way of tightening our risk reward. So this would be a stop loss of 369.25. And your target entry rate would be a retest there then of that blue line. Okay, so now we have to trade this on the 5. Ooh, even that, I don't know if I can. So bouncy and choppy so far, bouncy and choppy. And so we'll be back looking here. Now I'm a little bit, I have less desire to be optimistic, right, on this pullback into this 400 area like we're seeing right now, because it's happening after a little fake out under our confirmation candle low. So you could almost argue, right, that this move is a failed move lower instead of a weak pullback right into my entry zone. I look at the 30-min chart. I mean, it's just pure doji. Gross. So again, very much worth just being patient here so far. And all we've done, and this is a good thing, right, is just save ourselves money. You know, I think we would have been realistically, had we traded CL when we had that first opportunity and had we chased NQ here, probably be 0 for 2 to start the day. And instead, right, we're sitting on cash instead. So okay, it's not the like best feeling in the world to have not had a trade here yet. But we've identified conditions well here. We kind of still knew that it was going to be choppy until proven otherwise. We haven't gotten that proven otherwise. We've seen bulls fail. We've seen bears fail. So we just can't basically let our system fail here and start to chase rules or break down and hope we get lucky, right? So still no action. 23 minutes into the day. No problems. Again, this is a chance to go increasing volume here. I think it did on the 3-min. And the problem with the 3-min, right, is we still need a breakout above that fake out high. That has not happened. I'm going to let the markets bounce around, right, until they give me a direction. Yeah, all we're doing right now is we are I mean, we've done a good job, right, identifying what the chop is going to be or what the market conditions are going to be. Now we're just waiting to see the other variant of our plan, right, to basically come together. And it's almost one of those days where maybe our best trades are going to be the ones we don't take here today. At least early doors, right? That's kind of how things are shaping up a little bit. So that's a nasty fake out lower. And I would say objectively, right, seeing that type of breakdown move then get reversed so violently within 2 candles, probably not a good indication that bears are strong, right? Because if they were strong, why didn't they sustain? They failed, and they failed almost immediately. So we're back to waiting. You know what? It's 6:55 here. It feels like it's a lot later. I don't know if that's last night's dinner talking, but been a slow start here to the morning. This time here, 9:56. There is a part of me that wants to play this mean reversion opportunity here. Failed breakdown 1, right? Here's failed breakdown 2. Failed breakdown 2 occurs on increasing outlier volume. You're in very range-bound conditions here on CL, so finding support inside yesterday's range certainly makes sense. CL also loves that like mid-morning reversal. I'm going to watch this a little bit here. And it would have to be, for now, right, something like this. 61.62 as my stop loss. And then you'd be using 61.69 as your entry reference price. So we need to see it basically make a move above that blue line, find support off of that area, and then we can have it basically mapped in that way. or boxed in that way. And all of a sudden we start watching it and price action literally stops moving. Classic. All right, well, not exactly a good sign from bulls there. Very, very slow start to the AM. Very, very slow. There is no 10 a.m. data this morning. Okay, so now we're looking here, right? Absolutely. And in this situation, now we're looking at something like this, right? So 61.66 here as my stop loss, looking for a pullback into approximately 61.71. Might not happen. That's fine. We'll just set this up here on the 5-min time frame if it does give me that pop, but there was no reasonable chance that I was going to be able to execute that there. It just did not give me the correct reaction, right? Post entry or post confirmation candle. Now, if this thing does continue to close with that really enthusiastic volume profile, then we can start to target that upper 2R range, right? So like that 62.42-ish area, 62.41. We'll come back to that in a minute. In the short terms, keep an eye here on the indexes. They continue to kind of be in no man's land. Fine. And then now we're just looking, right, or waiting for this candle to close as candle looks like 1, 2, or 3, right? So one of those levels of bullishness. And we'll see if it can give me that oomph. I'm a little bit impressed by the indexes and just how slow they're behaving. Almost like it's forcing us to take a dopamine detox day. And so what we're looking for here, right, is for this body of the candle to be larger than the top wick and for it to ideally close above that 80, right? 61.80 is kind of our point of reference here. Okay, so let's keep an eye here on CL. This is behaving nicely. Let me putting my focus onto this for now. We're looking for the aggressive entry technique as is. And then you'd be looking at a 85 breakout retest of that zone, 5 cents of risk. You'd be able to go 10 contracts. I'd probably go 9, but you could go 10. So I'll get everything set up here, right? Be a long. Stop loss 61.80. Like I said, I'm going to go 9 contracts here. And now we're looking for a gentle pullback, right? Back into our blue line area. Okay, guys, I am waiting for a fill. Yeah, I'm closing that. Cancel my order. I'm going to try again. Okay, there we go. So now I am in average price 61.83. Average price 61.83. Stop loss at 61.80, and I have 9 contracts. And I just got stopped out for a minus $270 loss. This might set back up again here. We can keep an eye on. But maybe not the perfect start there. At the 88, that's okay. 5-man looks pretty weak. Again, right? Although that trade maybe didn't work out the way that I wanted, I lost half of what my max loss number is. That's a reasonable outcome, all things considered, and I can still reset back up on this play if it does come together. Okay, so we're still in play here. We need to get it back up above that 85, right? Retest of that area and then go from there. That'd be 9 cents of risk. We'd be looking at 5 contracts here, right? Instead of 10 or 9. Now, if it continues to reject and sell off, then okay, right? Probably not going to get the opportunity. That was worth a shot. Absolutely was. All right. And again, right, that trade maybe wasn't a win, or like it wasn't a winning position, but it was still a positive outcome, right? Because I took a loss smaller than I expected, which is a positive, right? I had good position sizing, and I didn't have to sit in that thinking I'm right or wrong quickly, right? It kind of settled itself. It settled itself out pretty quick. So no mental capital drain from that position. It was a good call to have stopped ourselves out, right? Now this thing is making lower lows. And we're back to looking, right, for some of these breakdown scenarios here. And we'll see if they can behave appropriately. How's chat feeling today? Everyone okay? Yes, no, maybe, hopefully. All right, good, good, good. Maybe on the CL here, we can now start looking for a breakdown towards 61. Good volume. Okay, so I would be interested in looking for a move down towards 61 here as well. Pretty decent size move. And I'd like to get within like there, right? That would be my reference price, 61.70 on that technique. If it's going to be the aggressive, then I can still do something a little bit more interesting there. But for now, this is how it's set up. Okay, so let's set it up like this now. And you're looking at about 9 cents of risk here, so 5 contracts. Let's wait for now. And these indexes are temperamental. So again, here, right to the downside, we're looking for a move towards 61. Entry of about 70 or better on this pullback technique. Right there it is. So it still needs to go quite a bit higher, right, prior to beginning an entry. Nice, Mark. Sounds like a great start. Not a ton of action here yet. I'm down 270 bucks. Okay, so starting to watch here, guys, right? Stop loss would be 61.80. Round it up, just get that extra penny. Stop or entry would be around 70 or better. I'm going to be looking at 5 contracts. Okay, not a tradable low on the indexes. I still prefer the pullback here. Okay, so I'm watching here, right? 5 cents. 61.70 is my reference, right? So I'm looking for an entry above 61.70. Okay, watching closely here, team. 61.70, right? Stop loss 61.80, 5 contracts. Excuse me. Okay, still waiting. Okay, still watching, still watching. At some point it'll want to cooperate. The indexes look disgusting today. Just an absolute torture chamber of price action here so far. If it does break down here, make lower lows. Then we'll go stop loss 61.67. I appreciate that, Mark. Yeah, I mean, it's times to be aggressive, times to be patient. Knowing like when to slow down is a very important skill. Very frustrating one, but it's an important one. I got dumb songs stuck in my head. Not a good sign. And still in play here. Indexes don't want to give me any relief. So we're still looking now, right, for this thesis, right, the 70 entry. Ooh, excuse me. Come on, a few more cents, and we're looking right for a discount relative to $70. Okay, getting close. I got everything set up here. 6180 stop loss, 6170 entry target. Let's see if we can get a little bit of an overreaction here and then look to go short. I've got no evidence to suggest that my bearish thesis has been invalidated yet. All right, guys. So I am in 6171 short. Okay, well, let's see if this thing could start to break down here pretty quick. Yeah, probably the perfect entry would have been like 6173 by the looks of it. Yeah, it's not a great volume profile. Just watching carefully here. It's got to start to break down pretty quick. Time for a flush. Come on. And a super enthusiastic reaction here post entry. 4 cents offside. I'm in no man's land. And if it doesn't die here, I got to get out. Come on. Hmm. What was your stop loss? How did it get triggered at 80? We haven't touched 80 here, right? We've touched 78. Again, not a great situation here. But guys, if you're going to be trading micros, I'll take a look at the chart here in a second. But then you can't be typing in the same price as I'm typing in, right? You're no longer trading the same ticker. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to manage this a little bit. Yeah, so next time just ask, right? You don't need to have to figure this out all by yourself. We had plenty of time before this trade came together to ask that question. We don't need to sit on that, right? And then get stung, right, when it happens. Okay, come on here. Definitely what I'm asking myself to a certain extent, right, is if my entry timing wasn't correct, what else was I wrong about? I'm kind of trying to find an exit here, truth be told. Not a tremendous amount of enthusiasm here, but it's not getting back to my entry price or below. Kind of survived the worst case scenario, but then not really gotten the return right on that. A little bit of maybe a sloppy entry price. And survive. Oh, there we go. So survived that stop loss. It did not. Okay, I took the stop. Sitting at minus 770 here on the day. So I had my stop loss to be set 1 cent above my confirmation, right? So confirmation high on my candle was 79. In this situation, it was 80. So you needed to have added that extra cent effectively. Right. So that was my high right there. That's okay. It's the way she goes. And it's been a very, very choppy morning so far. This would be the other scenario here now, right? Going red to green. $61.83. Here's your confirmation. It might be better on the 5. Let's wait it out. Yes, to a certain extent, Norm. Like trading is dictated by supply and demand, right? And so what you're seeing, but that you're not seeing a complete picture there of the order book, right? So all that does is it tells you what the hanging orders are at that specific price. Fundamentally, from your question, it's going to tell you if you have an expectation of getting executed at that price or not, right? If you see 10 orders, right, hanging out at, we'll say 61.80, and you've got 15 orders, right, or 15 contracts that you're trying to execute, you don't have enough volume there at that price to get that exact price. So I would be careful using that information to dictate direction. It's incomplete, and there's too many other ways that you can see order prices or get that data sent that NinjaTrader won't be showing you. That I wouldn't put too much stock into that. Almost kind of seems like the only setup that would be left would be that, red to green reversal. Yeah, that's just going to be confirmation bias, though, this morning. I wouldn't put too much stock into that. Like the problem, right, with trying to use the order book to identify imbalances is that once you get a tremendous amount of liquidity, right, which CL, NQ, and ES, they're like 3 of the most traded names in the world, is that you're seeing really small snippets of data that don't account for the general market enthusiasm or like market strength. Now, if you're trading some like a liquid small cap or some random name in Korea or something along those lines where they only execute 1,000 shares a day, well, now you can actually count, right, all the orders that are available there and be able to use that information with some level of accuracy. But when something is this liquid, you don't really get the information you need because there's just too many other sources. The other alternative, right, or the other realization you need to have here is that when you're doing your evaluation account, you're trading effectively inside a simulator, right? You're not getting direct market access. So what you're seeing in NinjaTrader could be a reflection of just what other prop traders are trying to do, not necessarily a reflection of the full market picture. Okay, so again, we could be back in play here. 61.80 would be the stop. Looking for an entry around 60 or 86, sorry. kind of that area, targeting high a day. Again, my stop loss would be 1 cent below my low, right? I could go 7 contracts here. All right, guys, I'm in at 86, in at 86 long. All right, and a much better reaction this time here so far, a much better reaction. So let's see if this thing can continue to show us some levels of enthusiasm. Otherwise, right, I don't want to see it pull back too close to my entry price. A retest of entry price is not fantastic. Let's see if this thing can get back up and I can get just a quick little exit here. It's only up 4 cents. I can't, said I should have protected. That feels not great. The indexes might be back in play. Kind of a bullshit day here. Yeah, I took the stop. I'm going to focus on the indexes here now. Unlucky. All right, so yeah, we'll be watching NQ here to the upside. Basically, fake out to the downside. Now breaking out on volume here higher. This is, yeah, looking pretty good. So 432.50 would be your stop. Oh, just 432, right? You're looking at a couple contracts here. CL fake out and go. That's quite frustrating. Okay, wait for this. Okay, good little bounce. Just be patient here. Just be patient. Okay, watching again here, team. Watching again. Little pullback here, little baby pullback. Okay, so I am in 439.75, 439.75, 3 contracts, stop loss at 32. And this thing's got to really start pushing here quickly, right? I'm not getting stuck in something that's not moving well. This thing is behaving good so far. Let's see if it's got some more juice here to get over 450. Got to push. So now we're watching this 50 breakout here, right? See if it can sustain. Can't quite pyramid into this for a bigger sizing yet, so I need a little bit further separation. That 50 is definitely acting as resistance, so we need to see it break and hold above that area on this candle. Come on. Got to bounce here. Oh, listen to me. Crazy. All right. Gotta keep pushing. Gotta keep pushing. And we're looking for that 450 breakout here, right? 450 breakout. Close. Okay, again, back to watching here. Let's see if we can get that big pop. Teasing it. Let's see here. This is our chance. Come on. That's 450. Come on, come on, come on. You want to. Okay, so we didn't close on volume above 50. That pullback's kind of disgusting. I think by the letter of the law, I need to be getting out of this position. So I'm just looking to get out here as my PNL is increasing. And again, trying to see if I can get that little pop above 50, because I think that there's a big move coming once that happens. But I'm closer to my entry price than I am to 50. So that's the thing I'm trying to balance here a little bit. Come on. Yeah, I took the stop. I should have gotten out of that trade much earlier. Not a banner day. Hmm. And I think this is a chance to continue to set up for me, but it's been very challenging to trade this price action so far today. All of our leading names, right, or a good chunk of our leading names are trying to make that same red to green move. At least a consistent story. But I'm not taking my profits aggressively enough. And a little fake out, find support off of the opening range. Nasty little fake out, but that's fine. Part of the game. Frustrating part of the game. And let's see how this thing closes. Again, this might give me another opportunity for a move here back to the upside. We got to be a little bit careful here. Back to my entry price pretty much. Think about doing this. Okay, so watching here pretty closely. And this little fake out spot, right, is going to be where I'm looking. Too fast, way too fast. All right. No entry. Again, that's too aggressive. I don't have the courage for that. Don't think that works. Okay. Let's keep watching. Okay, so obviously back in business here. Same thing on ES. So stop loss here would be 408, guys. Stop loss here would be 408. It's not going to give me an entry. Oh, maybe. All right. Watching here. Watching. Okay, guys. I am in short. Average price $399.25. $399.25. Maybe that was a little bit premature here. Let's see. And it's 3 contracts. It's 3 contracts. Going in here. Let's see. Come on. Keeps rejecting, but I'm not sure if it's giving me the look. I'm just getting bounced about here a little bit. Okay, well, I'm out. That's a bit of a butt kick in here today. Okay, now we can look for a reversal long back up towards the highs. I mean, this is just bouncing. Oh, pathetic day. 408 would be the stop loss. Okay, guys, so I am in 414 average price here. 414 average price. Stop loss 408. And it's just 3 contracts here. That's 414 on the dot. Come on. Eventually one of these has got to work. Come on. No, bad rejection. All right, guys, I'm out of this. Getting my butt kicked here today. I'm not going to place any further trades. I'm just getting chopped to death. That just looks like it's a bullshit sell-off, unfortunately. Frustrating. Any questions here, team? Any questions? Yeah, just horrendous price action today. Got myself too choppy. So sitting at 1935 and some change. I just gave back Friday's P&L here, unfortunately. Oh, annoying. And I think the annoying thing isn't necessarily the price action. I mean, the price action is annoying for sure. Don't get me wrong. Not been a fun trading day here. The annoying part is had scenarios where I was green. I didn't take those greens. Those greens turned into reds. So I've just made this day worse than it needed to have been. Could have very easily walked away, 500-600 bucks down. Instead, I've exaggerated that a little bit, which is a nuisance. There's a psycho in me that thinks this reversal could still be in play. Yeah, I mean, it's just simply a numbers game. It's not the end of the world, but there's always things you can improve, always things you're going to get better at. I don't know if I'm crazy enough to try this again. I have to go such micro risk here. It's so bouncy. Yeah, I have taken a shot here, guys. I have taken a stab here. 410.75. Stop loss at 406. I've got quite a few contracts here, right? I've got 4 contracts. Okay, very quick flyer here. All right. Jesus Christ, why don't I just wait for this all morning? So now it's got to keep pushing here. It has to keep pushing. Oh my God. So in from 410.75. In from 410.75. $1,200. I've been waiting for this move all morning. I don't know why I didn't get it the first time. Yeah, so I kind of have a chance to pyramid here a little bit. So that is what I have done. That makes now my average fill price to be 414. 414. And I got a lot of contracts here, and I'm sitting on 8 contracts, guys. I'm sitting on 8 contracts. Oh, this game can be so frustrating. Now until we can get past that 24 handle again, right, and really start to push. Oh, man. Come on, come on, come on. 430 is going to get me very, very green. Gotta fight this greed a little bit. Flirted with my average price there for a second. Come on, come on. And flirting with that average price. A little bit of a too aggressive of a pyramid. Could have gone a deeper pullback for sure. Should have made this just a little bit of an easier trade. Okay, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And that's $1,000 right there. Let's keep going here. Keep going. I'm sorry this was a little bit of a greasy trading day here, team. Okay, watching. 1,500. Next big pop, I have a chance to go green. Feel a little bit disgusted saying that, truth be told. Sitting at 1540, PNL 1600. Just a little pop over 30 and I'm green. This is dirty. Trying to figure out if this was the right stubbornness to take this trade or if this was a good decision out of greed. Feel pretty calm. I don't know if it's necessarily greed-based decision. Maybe I got a little bit too pot committed to my thesis, which I think explains that speeding up process, Kiki, right? Like maybe there's a little bit of like residual hangover from that previous stop out. That put you green on the day, Brooke? That's 2,300. Come on, keep pushing. Nice work, man. Congratulations. Let's go, Herschel. Let's go. Again, I don't think that this thesis was necessarily terrible. I don't think the execution was terrible. But I think that there are some reasons to be like kind of annoyed. Needing to be saved by a big win is never it's a good feeling because you're not finishing the day red, but it's like, how did I allow myself to get that to the first place? There's a very like limited amount of euphoria here, right? That would not be the right sensation. Now I think I'm in really good shape here and I can get some more oomph. I get that little 430 break, I'm in great shape. But this is where I have to be a little bit honest with myself. Because these are scenarios where it's very easy to get greedy now all of a sudden, right? You're kind of looking at a gift horse in the mouth. I'm really trying to keep my my tone down, I think, for one, right? Really trying to keep my like posture straight, breathing consistent, and just be super deliberate here. Yeah, it keeps getting stuck at those points. Now, there's a psycho part of me that wants to pyramid in here again. All right. And I've done it. That makes my average price now to be 416 with 11 contracts. 416 with 11. Again, really forcing myself to try to be calm here. And I'm looking to get out first decent pop I get. Okay, watch closely here. This could be it. Get back up above 30, you bugger. Here we go. Here we go, team. Here we go. Give me a pop above 30, and I'm looking to close. Average price 416.82. 11 contracts. Oh my gosh. Okay, watching. Come on, come on, come on. Hey guys, well, I've been stopped out here protecting my position. I've been stopped out here protecting my average price. So all in all, that turned into like a $350 win. Serves me right, truth be told. Any questions here, team? I mean, a little bit yeah, a little bit frustrated here for sure. It's just been stuck in this box all day. It's crazy. Like all things considered, it could have been a lot worse here today. Yeah, it's been a tough trading day. It's been a really tough trading day. How's everyone feeling? You guys want to keep pushing, or do you want to walk away? AJ, man, you're down too much. You've broken too many rules. Don't look for another trade. Yeah, that's similar to what I'm sitting at here, Patrick. Down far too much, AJ, right? Far too much. You're going to get locked out of your account, right? If you continue to do that. I'm still potentially looking here, team. I'm still potentially looking. Yeah. So it'd be this 413 stop loss. Yeah. I'm in 422.25, two contracts, stop loss at 413. Might have been a bad decision. Let's see. Come on. It closed right at my entry price. See it on my screen here, right, Brooke? In long 422.25, two contracts stop at 413. That was also updated in the setup alerts channel inside the Discord. So you can always see that here, right? You can always see that. Right? So that's why I write it down on my screen and post it in the setup alerts channel, right? So that if you miss something, you can always use that as a reference point for what you missed and what those specifics are. So besides like writing it down in green when I'm looking long or in red, right, when I'm looking short, I'm not sure how else I can do that better to give you the information that you're looking for. All right, so if I'm in a trade, I will write it down on my screen and I will share it in the setup alerts channel. Keep pushing here, keep pushing. I'm 8:32, it's still early. Oh, well, that's not good. Yeah, I got stopped out. I'm gonna call it there, guys. That was dumb. So first red day here in a while, unfortunately. Dumb. Honestly, complete opposite of how I wanted to have traded today, truth be told. All right, team, any questions here? Any questions? Bit of a drawdown day here today. Frustrating. One sec here, guys. Sorry, one sec. Hello? I'm good, Cam. How about yourself? You know what time? Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, no worries. I've got some family members, so I'd spare with me on the desk, but absolutely. All right, thanks. All right, sorry about that, guys. Get my internet set up here finally. So yeah, any final questions here? Any final questions? Yes, no, maybe. And finishing the day down 11:55 and some change per account. Not a great session. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself that multiple times I let green trades turn into red trades or give back, 80% of the P&L. I'm a little bit frustrated with myself on that. That's what prevented me from being green here on the day. Yeah, kind of annoyed. I got stopped out protecting my entry, Ajay. I got stopped out protecting my entry. All right, so once you pyramid in, you place your stop loss to be above your average price so that you're increasing your sizing while not increasing your risk. Because once those trades go against you, right, they are violent. Right, so operationally, it's pyramid, right? Edit stop loss. Pyramid in, edit stop loss, and it's edit your stop loss to be the low of whatever that previous whatever entry candle was, right? So in this situation, been like 419. So I got stopped out protecting 3 points, 11 contracts, right? Yeah, kind of a tough day. Annoyed with myself more than anything today. A little bit just annoyed with myself with how I traded. It's very, very greedy trading. All right, team. Final call for questions here. Oh, look, Brooke, it is what it is, right? Every trader loses. Every trader has those disappointing days. So it's not the number that disappoints me, right? The number itself is not that painful. It's that I made mistakes that created this number, right? Instead of being in control, right? And just like playing the game in front of me. I allowed myself to get a little bit greedy and a little bit desperate once I was in drawdown. And then that prevented me from actually working my way out, right, of my losing day. So at one point I was up, $500 or so on the day on that trade before it pulled back. And I just just didn't want to take that for whatever reason. So that's what I'm frustrated about. I'm frustrated about that I saw that version of myself, not necessarily that I finished the day red. Finishing the day red is what happens, and it's a part of the game. Like, it happens to every single trader. So I'm not trying to run or hide from that. And after 9 days, right, of green trading in a row, okay, not a big deal, right, that you get your bit of a butt kicking. And it's what, how many red days on the year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 red days, right? So 14 out of 81. Like, that's a ratio that I more than am happy to go with, but it's just that when you make things worse, or you make a mistake and then you get punished for it, it just makes you feel like an idiot. I kind of just feel like I'm finishing the day a little bit like an idiot. Because it was a preventable red day, right? It was a preventable red day. All right, guys, any other questions here? All right, sweet. So same deal like always, team, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, looking forward to catching up with a few of you here this afternoon, and then some of the others here later this week. And have yourselves a great day, team, and talk to you guys tomorrow with hopefully a nice and quick internet connection. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, and we'll chat then.